Hi, I'm Sheila Taylor Clark,
And I'm Nate Clark.
and this is our story of our fight with breast cancer. And I say our fight because I definitely wasn't in this by myself, definitely had my husband by my side. I guess you could say my battle with breast cancer began with my mother in law's story, passing away from breast cancer when she was 46 years old. I saw up close the devastation that it caused not only to her and her body, but to the family that she left behind. I always feel really sad when I think about how young and vibrant and beautiful she was, and how she never got a chance to meet three of her grandchildren, one of which is my daughter, Mackenzie, age 4. Was there with her in the hospital, was there as they told her that to start making arrangements for the end of life, which is really, really sad. And just looking at the grace she showed and the strength through the process, but feeling very torn up inside. I was still mourning the next year when I got my own breast cancer diagnosis. It was the night before, the day before my third wedding anniversary, and I'll never forget it because of that. And just still going through and thinking about my mother-in-law and now having my own battle, and at that point not knowing if I would survive, because the only experience I had with breast cancer was, again, watching my mother-in-law pass away from it. So that definitely crossed my mind. And when I got the diagnosis, I didn't really hear anything after they said unfortunately, because nothing good ever comes after unfortunately. And I just thought the worst. I heard all these different terms being thrown out: lumpectomy, staging, surgery, and couldn't really put it all together. Had to call back a little bit later just to understand what I had been told. The cancer was found early the first time, and it was small, so it was handled with a lumpectomy and 8 weeks of radiation. Radiation caused devastation to my skin, obviously, made me really fatigued, turned my skin a different color, which is still is the same today. And but I was able to get through it. I did have lymph nodes removed, so I had some limited range of motion for a little while, but got through that, and life was going well. Things were going great. I ended up having a baby in 2009, and then in 2013, I just had a feeling of that my cancer had returned. So I decided to go to the doctor and have him order me a mammogram, and they did go ahead and diagnose me with breast cancer again. So it had reoccurred, and this time I got the call. I was on my way out of town to attend a conference for an organization, National Accounting Association, where I serve as the treasurer and CFO. And on my way to my stop, or on the way on the shuttle to my gate, I got the call, and the call was, "Sheila, I wish I had better news." And again, nothing ever comes good after something like that. Was diagnosed. They thought it was the same size, that it was small, and my surgeon mentioned that I could have another lumpectomy, but I decided, again, since it was the second time, to go ahead and have a bilateral mastectomy. I was under the impression that I would not need chemotherapy, because from all the tests it looked like it was about the same size as it was the first time. However, when my surgeon went in and actually removed the breast, the cancer was in my breast from end to end of the breast. So it was about 13 centimeters. So it was actually very large, even though it had not spread to the lymph nodes. I underwent a couple of tests to try to determine if, with it being early stage, even though it was big, it was a big cancer, if chemotherapy would benefit me. And of course, I tried to fight against it, because, again, remembering the battle that my mother-in-law had and the effects of chemotherapy on her, I just didn't want to go through that. And I didn't see myself going through that at age 43 with a 3-year-old, and, just didn't feel good about it. But at the end, decided after the last test, when they told me I had a recurrence rate or risk of recurrence of about 30%, but if I did chemo, it would be reduced to about 10%. I thought about my husband and my baby, and I decided to go ahead. I just finished chemo in December 26, 2012, and had 6 treatments every 21 days of one of the most aggressive regimens that you can go through. That's called TAC for all the drugs that they gave me, a 3 cocktail chemotherapy. And it was devastating. The first time I felt like it was going to take me out, very dehydrated. Nutritionally, I just didn't have anything. I wasn't able to eat because of the metallic taste that was left in my mouth. And I just felt like I went through a lot, just a lot of pain and low blood counts, and just felt very, very sick. So everything you see about chemotherapy is the truth, as somebody who has undergone that. Black nails, black toenails, unexplained joint pain, and just being nauseated, constipated, having diarrhea. Of course, too much information that I'm sharing, but, just really wanted to, we see all the things about breast cancer and everything's pink and pretty and beautiful, but the actual disease is not pretty. So, but I was able to make it through that, definitely with the support of my husband, who was there with me every step of the way, and just glad to be on this side of chemotherapy, to have been done and, given a clean bill of health. Now I'm waiting on the rest of my reconstruction, which has, stalled a little bit due to the effects of chemo on my previously radiated breast. But I'm praying to God, holding on to my faith, and, being strong, because I know that I'm going to get through that next phase with these next 2 surgeries, and I'm going to come out great. I've just felt very encouraged, and I want to encourage anybody else that's going through this and inspire them that, there is an end, that you're going to get to the end, and you may feel bad today, but to just hold on, that you can beat breast cancer. I've beaten it twice, so hope I don't have to be in a fight with it again. But again, like I said, it's something that I had to go through. But again, I'm so glad to have had the support of my loving husband.
Well, initially dealing with the news that Sheila's breast cancer had come back was definitely overwhelming. We had to deal with it twice before, once with Sheila and once with my mother. So I guess the third time around was extremely difficult. I knew that there was going to be an uphill battle, but I did know that Sheila would be prepared for that. Unfortunately, had to be prepared for it. I saw a gamut of emotions, a gamut of her just feeling maybe pretty good one day, but most of the time not feeling so well. That made it difficult for our family. It made it difficult, extremely difficult for me, because I hated to see my wife in that particular condition, or in those conditions, because they varied. But I knew that with faith, with family, and our loving daughter, that we would, overcome this battle as well. She's done a tremendous job of, doing what the doctors say, following their directives, getting the right nourishment, getting the appropriate rest, to ensure that she can recover from this terrible disease that unfortunately so many people across the world are facing. We are very grateful to the medical staff for all the assistance that they've provided. We're grateful to our friends and families for their support and their prayers. And I'm grateful for Sheila and her fight, her will to continue to beat cancer, and to prove to cancer that cancer will not win this battle. So my particular role was to just kind of be there for her and support her, to try to do whatever needed, whatever it took, in order for her to be as comfortable as possible, be as motivated as possible, and to be encouraged as possible. And along with our little girl Mackenzie, I think that also added a bit more, some extra fight and determination from Sheila to overcome this illness, this disease, and be able to look in the mirror and be able to tell her message to the world, the country, that this can be beaten. There is new technology out there, and if you just put your mind to it, put faith, and just trust that the doctors are doing the right things, she as a patient is doing the right things, that she could overcome this illness. And thus far, she is definitely proving that she can look cancer in the face, can stare it down, and can win.